Hi, I'm Jackie Tantillo, and this is Should Have Listened to My Mother. Should Have Listened to My Mother is very fortunate. This year, we won a People's Choice Podcast Award for Best Show in the Society and Culture category, and we picked up 2 additional nominations for Best Female-Hosted Podcast and Best in Kids and Family category, which makes me smile. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, including Blue Sky. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your 5-star reviews and all your feedback. Thank you for trusting me with your precious and personal stories. And please tell a friend or 2 or 3. We're getting ready to wrap up Season 5 as the end of 2024 approaches. I've been fortunate to share these stories of relationships with moms and significant female role models and air them out. Often saying things out loud brings clarity, perspective, and reflection. Typically, the role of a mother is viewed as the caregiver, teacher, pillar of strength and unconditional love, teacher of family values, etc. We've also been introduced to the mothers that did the best they could with what they had. If the position or job opening for mother was an actual job posting on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter for no pay, would you apply? I've thought about that a lot. I am excited to speak with my guest. But just a little information about her before we meet. Alana Bonnemann is an Australian nutritionist and naturopath. She lives in Germany. She hosts a wonderful podcast called Health After 30. She believes that health is wealth, and her mission is to empower women by teaching them the fundamentals of holistic health, as well as empowering women to adapt to a lifestyle that supports their health. Her philosophies lean toward understanding your value and reclaiming your health by harnessing yourself as your biggest asset. Alana remembers her mother's wisdom coming through as a child, yet uncomfortable understanding at times. Alana says, "I don't know if it was the Australian lifestyle or my Chinese heritage, but my mom honed in on the importance of being connected to family. These people are there at the start, and they will be there at the end." Alana, welcome to Should Have Listened to My Mother.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a beautiful introduction, and also congratulations on the
it's so exciting.
podcast award. That is very exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, I really do love your show. Oh my goodness, I've listened to a number of episodes. Health After 30 is really wonderful. We need that help and support. So before we get into all that you do for others, I would like to spend some time talking about your mom, Lesley. So explain, first of all, you're Australian, but you live in Germany, and your mother is Chinese?
Yeah. It's a bit of a cocktail, isn't it?
Yes. It's wonderful.
So, yeah, it's a bit mixed. So my mom, she's Australian-born Chinese in the gold rush. My great-grandfather came from China. A lot of Australians it's a big melting pot, a lot of different cultures. My mother's family came from China, father's family came from Scotland, and that's my genetic makeup, I guess. But my grandparents didn't speak Chinese, so the language got lost, but a lot of the culture stayed. And I ended up in Germany because my partner is German. We met in high school, actually.
In Australia.
In Australia. He was a German exchange student, and over the years we kept in contact. And yeah, now 15 years later, I'm in Germany with 2 children, mother myself, and yeah, married to Olaf.
And you're working. You have your own business, right?
I work. Yes, I work. I have a podcast. I look after children. I manage a house. With my partner, of course. He's also there doing it all with me. Good.
So why nutrition? Why a naturopath? What made you go in this direction?
Yeah, that's That's a question that actually was birthed, I think, as a child. I was brought up in a household where it was really, really droned into me that health is wealth. It's almost the quote that echoes from my childhood: health is wealth, health is wealth. And as a child, I never really understood that. And as I became an adult, got to my 30s, everyone started getting sore hips, sore legs, started getting cancer. I realized that when we're young, we're quite healthy. We're just innately like that. But as we age, things happen, lifestyle, and this is where Health After 30 was born, because I realized things get hard. And if we're not looking after our health, then it's not going to get easier. So I think through my childhood, when I realized I wanted to study, I thought, what can I do that would not only perhaps make a career path for me, but also benefit myself as well? And so, yeah, that's where I chose naturopathy and nutrition.
What was your diet like growing up as a child?
Oh, that's a good question. My mother would cook Chinese food, although I have very fond memories of her in the kitchen just saying, what should we have for dinner? I don't want to cook dinner. I hate cooking. I love my mom's cooking. But she never enjoyed cooking. I didn't really learn how to cook from her. I wish I had more, because the Chinese I cook now is a really bastardized version of what Chinese food is. So it was a mixture between Chinese food and also the Australian diet, which is meat and 3 veg, steak and veg type thing.
Well, that's wonderful that you had the introduction of the vegetables and the Asian influence then, right?
Yeah, my parents, they were on top of it. They really tried to, yes, we weren't allowed to drink soft drink.
Yeah,
McDonald's was only a thing. Yeah, it was only a thing when we were traveling long distances to see my grandparents, and you would stop on the highway for breakfast. That was the one time we'd get McDonald's, and on the holidays, my brother and I would get to share. You can get these packs of cereal, and we would get to share one of these packs for our whole entire holidays. So it was very, yeah, they were very mindful about what we ate, I guess.
Well, that's pretty great. I mean, I think about it. My boys are now in their early 20s, and I was listening to another podcast, and they're talking about how, everything you start to eat, even as a teenager or a young adult, that is the building block for your health throughout your life, right? Yeah. So if it's full of lots of sugar and carbs and all that fun food, but it can kind of eventually catch up with you. So you don't only speak about diet. You help women with all kinds of things. And I'm curious, did you and your mom have that kind of relationship when you were growing up? Did she talk to you about your period? Did she talk to you about sex? Did she talk to you about relationships? Is your mom warm and fuzzy?
My mom is a very warm and fuzzy and friendly person. Did we talk about all those things? Not necessarily. It wasn't that type of open conversation. Also, perhaps because some of those things are also taboo a little bit, or they were in the 90s. Perhaps not anymore these days, but even menstruation, I wish it kind of just happened. And I guess my mom taught me just what she knew, what she had kind of picked up. But it wasn't this, it wasn't this awareness of women can work with their cycles. We have, we go through the first 2 weeks of your cycle and it's like this, and you feel you have energy. And then the second half of your cycle, you're getting tired. I wish, this type of stuff, I wish I had known as a child, but I've had to learn that later on.
Right. And that's part of what you help women with now, to understand there's more than the actual just a couple of days where you have your period.
Yeah.
It's all about the before and after and just the whole life cycle. So did you speak to your mom about birth control, premarital sex, boyfriends? Was she that kind of open in the 90s?
I think she wanted to have the conversation, but I guess I was very private in that respect. And we didn't really have those chats. We still don't have those chats, I guess, if I'm honest.
How many siblings do you have?
I have an older brother, Adam, 3 years older.
Are you close?
We are close in the way, like what you mentioned before, that we are there at the start and we'll be there at the end and we'll always be there for each other. But we are chalk and cheese. We're so different. We're very similar, but also very different. So it's the relationship. We have a lot of respect and love for each other.
Did your mother work?
She had studied biochemical science, and
Oh
she
my
worked in,
gosh.
yeah, yeah, she was great. She was working in hospitals. She was doing all the labs in the hospitals. And I think when we were younger, yeah, she was working.
And what was she like as a teenager? Was she wild and crazy? Was her head in a book all the time? Just trying to get a
I think
sense
she was
of.
I think she was quite studious.
I would imagine if
Yes.
she had those sights of what she wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, but also very social. Very, very social as a person. Probably the most social person I know, actually.
Oh my
She has
goodness.
this incredible ability to retain information. Not it's information's perhaps not necessary. If she meets someone, she's very inquisitive and interested in someone else, and then she retains the information about them. And 3 years later, she can meet another person from the same city, and she will remember that these people live in the same city and connected. So she's quite good like that, actually. I think that might have been around for a long time for her, the social aspect. And yeah.
Is she a homemaker or does she sew? Is she an artist? Does she just have both sides of the brain that work like that? Or is she
She's
science?
very creative. Yeah, no, she's also very creative, and very logic. Like, she's very good at games, but same calligraphy, making things. She's quite nice. She's quite good like that as well. I guess it's a nice balance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what role, your dad, how did they meet? What was the connection that brought your father and your mom together?
They were in, I want to say university, but not together. How did they meet? I should know this.
You
I
can
should
get
know
back to me.
this. No, but they met through they were kind of at university in the same group of friends. That's where they met, and then yeah.
And when you were growing up, was it good cop, bad cop, or who was home around?
I do think so, yes. And I hate to admit it, but I think mum was actually bad cop, just because dad, he worked a lot. So when he was there, he was perhaps the fun one. So mum had, because she was the primary caregiver, she had to be the bad cop.
Right.
Or not even the bad cop, but just the one who I guess had more strict rules, because she was used to us and she knew what boundaries were pushed. And my dad was perhaps a bit more of a pushover.
Pushover.
Like that. Not pushover, but yeah, he would have fun.
And do they have nicknames for you, either parent?
Lani is the nickname. Alana is the full name, and they just short it down to Lani.
Oh, that's wonderful. I like that. So your dad was he a chiropractor? Did he go to school for
He still
chiropractor?
is a chiropractor. He went back to study. He went back to study when I was just born. So he went into to chiropractic as a mature age student, and I mean, a lot happened for him. I think for him, he studied a lot about, I guess you could say, medicine, the pharmaceutical industry. A lot opened for him, and how can I say this? He kind of, his perception opened to what health could look like, and this made him a little bit unstable, and he had to go and get psychiatric help. So mum was then again, well, not then again, but mum was then, I guess, alone with the two kids, my brother and I, while my dad was in care.
How long was he away, your dad?
To be honest, I don't know because we don't really talk about it. I don't know too
Oh,
much about,
interesting.
yeah, maybe I should start having that conversation. But I just know that it happened. And I think, now where I reflect back on that, I'm actually quite proud of my dad that he had the ability to stand up and,
Go get help.
be before his time in some things. Because I think a lot of what he was saying back then is it's becoming more mainstream and a normal narrative of how we can look after our health and ourselves and not just be medicated, for example.
I know it's tough when the partner is away. Your mom, was there resentment toward him having to leave? I mean, I know it's hard when you're a single
Yeah.
parent, but they are still together.
Yeah. My mum is very empathetic and very, very empathetic, very loyal. And as you said at the start, too, family comes first. So, of course, they've had adversities, and I'm sure that was a terribly hard time for her. My grandparents helped a lot in this phase as well, and she she rose to the challenge in the best way she could. She gave, both my parents gave us a very happy and healthy childhood, and even when there was these ups and downs, she managed to pull us all together.
Was
And
it was she stoic, or you? I love that you mentioned she was empathetic. Um,
yeah,
she she really just didn't. You never knew that she was upset or distraught, or did you?
yeah, no.
No.
And even it wasn't until other family members kind of told me what had happened that I realized
What
what
it was about.
the magnitude of it. But no, I would have never picked up anything as a kid.
Was your maternal grandmother with you growing up? Your mom's parents?
Yeah,
Um,
yes, they supported a lot.
were they living with you or just nearby?
Unfortunately, not. We when I was 5, we moved to a place called the Gold Coast, which is kind of a sunny, sandy place, and my grandparents lived in Sydney. But we moved down to Sydney and lived with them for a while.
Well, that's kind of nice to have another generation. What was your mom's relationship like with her mom?
I think also quite close. My mum was the oldest of 3.
Hmm.
But that's an excellent question because you don't often my grandmother's still alive,
Oh, you
and
should
they have.
talk to her.
Yeah, I know. I need to
Listen
get it
to
out.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they also have a very loving relationship as well.
If you are, having a bad day or, you just need somebody to talk to, is your mom the one that you pick up the phone to talk to?
I love this question because I would always go to my mum, but my mum always gives me the same advice, and it's usually, you know, you'll be right, you'll be okay. It'll be what it will be, and
Oh, God.
it's okay. So no matter what's going on, I kind of before I even call, I already know what the output's going to or the input's going to be. There's always that assurance there. It will be fine. Keep going.
Do you wish that she would say something like, life stinks, I feel terrible for you? Or do you wish that she would just break that barrier as the always there to help you mom and let you vent? Or is
Yeah.
her positive attitude enough?
No, absolutely. Now that I live in Germany, they're very thought provoking. They ask a lot of questions. They want to know how you're feeling. They want to go deeper. And now that I live in Germany, where my friends will ask me how I'm going, they really want to dig deep into my feelings just to see how I
Yeah.
genuinely am going. Now that I know that feeling, perhaps it would be nice to be able to go deeper, I think.
Because it kind of reminds me of our mom. She was very positive, always encouraging, supportive. You could do anything. The sky's the limit. And I never thought this as a kid to say, how are you? Or, are you okay? We get wiser as we get more mature.
But now I've also learned to say, Mom, can you validate my feelings? I'm feeling like this, and I just need you to listen. And
There you go.
she's open to it as well. Like she's always, she doesn't then block me out. She's
Okay.
always there, for us.
So yeah, validate my feelings. That's a big one. Because sometimes you feel that people are just like, whether, not that they're in a hurry or something, but they just want to be supportive. But it has to be okay for you to open up to somebody and for them to validate, so you don't feel like you're losing your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to be able to meet someone on the same level and then be able to
there you
share
go.
more. Yeah.
Woman to
Super
woman,
important.
too, which is pretty great. So finish this sentence for me. This is a story of a woman who, in referring to your mom.
This is a story of a woman who loves her family. She is like a mother duck who will put her wings over the people that she cares about and keeps them close to her heart. Gosh, I'm about to cry. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, and I live in Germany, she lives in Australia, and she always, even from afar, she's always encouraging that we have a strong bond with our families, with my brother, with my cousins, my uncles and aunts. I'm still in close connection with as well.
How often do you get to go back to Australia?
It's every year or so we come here. They come here or we go there.
Oh, I love that image. That's a beautiful visualization for anyone who needs the support if they don't have a mom to reach out to a friend, is to visualize the beautiful wings surrounding and embracing you. That's pretty great. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you have emojis on your phone or your computer, right? Those little graphic things. What would an emoji be that you would use to
describe my mom?
Your mom. I've never asked that question before.
You know this woman, like the tango dancer?
Yes.
Why? Maybe her. That's the first one that kind of came up. She's a bit spicy.
Oh, that's
she's not spicy in the wrong way, but she's got a flair. She's got energy. She's got jazz about her. She's got personality there.
Wow, that's fantastic. As a scientist, she's got like both sides of her, right? You said she's engineering?
Yeah, great. Biochemical science. I think, yeah. I mean, that's what she studied. I don't know how. I think she's far removed from that now in what she does, and now retired. She definitely takes more on the creative side now.
Oh, I love that spice. That's good. And it's great. It's never too late to really find yourself.
Yes.
Does she dance? Does she do art?
She does art, but she doesn't dance. She's active. She dragon boat paddles and plays pickleball. She's very active. Yeah, very active, very energetic. Just, yes, you can imagine a small, I mean, she's an Australian, but she looks Chinese. So she's got white hair and she's quite short, but just a lot of energy.
Is she social? Does she have many friends? She plays pickleball with somebody. Or your dad?
Yeah, absolutely social. So, very, very, very social. She also keeps in contact with my friends who I sometimes don't talk to anymore. And they tell me, oh, your mom's doing this. And yes, no, she's very, very, very social.
Oh, that's so great. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. We're going to have to get together with Lesley, the three of us.
She'd love that. She would love that.
So now I want to talk about what is deep and close to your heart as far as helping women. You work with women quite a bit. And it's not just about postpartum depression or menopause or, weight loss, weight gain, healthy weight. How and why was this your calling? And how is your philosophy of helping women different from others?
I think it all comes down to purpose, perhaps. When we go through life, well, as I've gone through life, I've reflected, how can I impact this world with the skills that I have and the knowledge that I have? And it's my humble belief that if someone is healthy and if someone feels well in themselves, and this is not just through diet and perhaps movement. This is also mental health, that beautiful trifecta of mental health and emotional health, also like the nutritional side and the movement as well. We don't only show up good in our lives, our relationships are better, the way we work is better, how we're productive, our focus, what we can give to others is then maximized. And I feel by elevating women to be able to feel well, then they get to impact their little life. And that impacts other people's lives. And through this way, I feel like there is a wave of change. And it's perhaps in my own way, changing the world for the better. For it to be a grand gesture, from something so small. But that I think is the core of it. That wakes me up in the morning. That gets me excited. That makes me want to do what I do.
It's empowering if we feel good on the inside, physically, mentally, it's all connected, spiritually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we radiate that energy and we're more productive.
Yeah.
But it's the juggling of so many things that women have. If you're a mom, you're working or you're taking care of your parents, and then the hormones come in eventually, and they have a big party of their own, and you're not invited, or you are, but you don't want to be there. Woo, it gets complicated.
That's the thing. It's not easy. Everyone knows how to eat well. Everyone knows, to not be on their phones until the middle of the night. Everyone knows all these different things. But you're right, life gets in the way sometimes. And what we need, and this perhaps ties back to your other question, how do I do it differently? We need to create habits. We need to create the foundation so all of this becomes easier. And so we don't feel like we're just lost when things happen, or perhaps sometimes we get to the point where we have health conditions where we think, I just want to renew it all on Monday. I'm going to change my life.
We'll start all over again, which we're allowed to do.
We're allowed to do
that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I definitely, if you're, wanting that, but what I find and what I see time and time again is this, I'm going to do it all on Monday. It doesn't necessarily work. It doesn't stick because it's not sustainable. We can't just change everything on Monday.
Every Monday.
Every Monday. It takes time and it takes consistency, and we just have to keep doing it. It is hard, absolutely. And we shouldn't feel bad for trying, because sometimes, and that's the thing, if we try to do it all on Monday and then we don't manage because nothing sticks, then we, feel a bit guilty and we shame ourselves. But it's a process. It's a very long process. And this is also why I don't advocate for diets or anything, because you can't just start one and then end one and be healthy. It's just a constant showing up and learning, what your body likes and working from there.
If I decide to take the time for myself, if I decide that I'm worth getting up and having a couple of those minutes to myself to do my exercises, whether it's my yoga or my stretching, anything, or go for a walk, that is the beginning of my day. I like starting my day doing that. If I say, I have to do the laundry, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get ready for my next interview, then it starts to unravel.
Yeah, that takes you straight down. Yes, absolutely. We know that there's certain things that make us feel good. There's movement, for example, or distilling the mind, or laughing even. Like, we know these things make us feel good.
Music is so important to me.
Chat with a friend, yes. Like, all of that is like, it's all so powerful for us, but we don't always go to it because, for example, the chocolate in the drawer that's calling out to you, that gives an instant satisfaction. That's an instant guarantee.
Yeah.
Whereas perhaps, the 15 minutes meditation might not be, and it might be more frustrating than it is fun.
Or a different satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But neither is bad, and we just need to know kind of what's going on underneath it and what are the long-term benefits that we can get from doing things.
Yeah. Alana, I'm so glad we got to meet. Thank you so much for joining me Germany, just outside of New York City. We've got Australia connected. You have people listening in 50 countries, I believe.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
And again, the name of your podcast is Health After 30. And that's how people can find you, because I know they can connect with you there and link up.
Absolutely.
You work with clients one-on-one.
Yeah. And I also have resources as well, just if people need to kind of know where to start. There's free resources there as well.
Alana Bonnemann, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back next week with another episode of Should Have Listened to My Mother.